We're going to talk about the impact of technology and social media on mental health. Welcome, and would you please give the audience a brief overview of you and your work and what they should know about you as a technologist?
First of all, I love technology. So I want the audience to know Mark Stross loves technology. So the question I'm going to ask all of you today is how genned up are you on technology? And if you don't know what genned up means, well, I'm going to describe it to you right now. Do you have so much information inside your brain that has been fed to you by your mobile devices that you're angry, you're frustrated, you're excited, but you're completely motivated? Because you're dependent on the information that continues to come in on that beautiful mobile device. Because if you're one of the many, which is probably all of us, then you are genned up.
Well, I've worked in social media marketing for over 10 years. So for sure, I've seen the evolution of it and its impact on society and the consumers as a lot of different aspects of our culture in many different ways. So for sure, I don't think any of us are innocent when it comes to that addiction and that necessary relationship or that dependency that we have on technology. And of course, there's a lot of positives to that and a lot of ways that it makes us more efficient. But I've definitely seen a concerning impact, especially on young people, on the future generation. And I know that's a passion that we both really share. Before we even get into that, I want you to explain to the audience what genned up means because you explain it in your book, but I don't think everyone's familiar with that term.
So, genned up is an English expression, or at least I was exposed to it growing up in Europe. And genned up means is when you are so overly exposed to a topic that you become excited by it. And I thought that was so beautiful to define our social media dependency as really defining it as we have become genned up. And genned up is not necessarily a bad thing. You can be genned up on a positive thing. Let's say you love flowers and you go to social media and you see beautiful flowers and you're genned up about your passion towards flowers. But equally, you can be genned up because you're seeing pornography and you're genned up because your dopamine is so high in your body because you're seeing things that stimulate you. So you can be genned up in many different ways. And that's why I wrote a book, Killer Tech and the Drive to Save Humanity, which actually has a split image on it. In fact, it's right here. And why did I split the image? I split the image because ultimately we, all of us, are a little bit torn between good and bad. I mean, if you think about it, we all probably use our devices too much, and we know we should be off of them. And what kind of role model are we sending to our kids with our own usage of our mobile devices? I mean, are we truly innocent, or are we a product of what the mobile devices have created in society, which is a genned up society, which is filled with information that's exciting to that individual, maybe not to society in general, but to that individual, because what they're looking at is what they like to look at. They're looking at their bias because social media is designed to excite you and to keep you using it. And the only way to use it is if social media feeds you stuff that you like to see. It's so wicked because it's so simple. Social media isn't bad. But when you ask something to feed you what you like, let's say like a perpetual ice cream machine, I think if you eat perpetual ice cream, you eventually will gain weight and it wouldn't be very healthy, right? But what happens when you're having a perpetual ice cream diet and social media, just everything you like? Do you think maybe at some point you might actually be out of touch with your friends? To the audience, I'm going to speak directly to you guys. When you're using your mobile device, your brain is not working. Your brain is being fed information that an algorithm that thousands of programs worked on, designed to make you become dependent on it so that you don't leave it. And therefore, you are all dependent on these devices that are feeding you information that only you like. And then most of us think that information is the truth. We go out into the world and we proclaim our truth only to find out most people don't believe our truth. That disappoints us severely. We get angry because our truth is not understood by everyone else. And that makes us feel very insecure, under-respected. And that makes people feel they don't have a voice and ultimately makes them angry, or some become very angry. And it's quite simple when you actually look at how we've arrived here. Now, to fix this is not so simple. We've slid into this almost in a coma because it's been a delicious coma, hasn't it? That ice cream machine has been pumping out these gallons of ice cream, and we have splurged and we've enjoyed it, all of us. But there's a price, and we're about to pay that price because we have only had this technology since 2012. It's 2024. So technically, approximately 12 years, right? So 12 years of this, guys. Well, our first generation of children that have been raised with these algorithms will be graduating and going to college. And in the next 6 years, we're going to have our first generation of social media. That's insane because if I was to look at the statistics right now, and anyone hearing me tonight, please go and check all of this out for yourself. Do not trust me, Kim, or Forrest. Please don't trust us. You have to do your own research on this. If you find any research that shows you people are happier since 2012, I would be really interested in seeing it. And if you know of some, please drop it in links.
Oof.
Because all the research that I've seen coming out from Asia to Europe to America is that since social media has become so abundant around the world, happiness, people's ability to feel secure and respected has absolutely decayed. So we have this phenomena called truth decay. And right now, and this has been tracked since the 70s, we are in the worst portion of truth decay since it's been tracked. We, the people, don't trust the media. We don't trust the government. We don't trust anything. And now, because of social media, you don't trust people in your own house. This is fascinating, and I want everyone to really try this experiment out. This weekend, when you go out with your friends and you're out with your family, you should all go and check out your social media feeds. Really, you should go and check each other's feeds out. Hand each other's your phone and say, take a look at what I'm looking at. I guarantee you it's going to be an adventure for you all because you're going to discover that everyone's being fed a different set of media. Now, you might have crossovers, and you guys might have helped create the crossovers by sharing media to each other. But each one of you will have different feeds, and
Right.
you'll be following different people.
You know what's so ironic about the concept of social media? Its intent is to help us feel connected and to connect us to people even across the globe. But with the mental health crisis that's so prevalent in pretty much every country around the world, and people feel more isolated now than ever, more disconnected from humanity now than ever. So, technology in general, of course, has added to that, but specifically the concept of social media that is supposed to socialize us, it's artificially replaced the actual human social connection. You and I had a discussion one time, Mark, where we were relating the concept of social media to the concept of junk food, where when you're starving, when you're hungry, your body needs nourishment. So you have that symptom, which is hunger, but you have the ultimate need, which is nourishment. When we resort to social media to connect us or have social interactions, and if that's our only intake, we're essentially ingesting the junk food version of social interaction, which of course is not nourishing, it's not sustainable, and it leaves us feeling empty and, in this case, disconnected.